That's what makes a Subaru. And if Subaru wants to sponsor this stream, they're more than welcome to.
Subaru, come on in. Water's warm.
How's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Doing good.
How are you?
Nice. All right. Brian and Marilyn, you guys were just at some convention, right?
No. Next weekend and the weekend after that.
Gotcha.
2 in a row. Where?
Owensboro.
Hey-o.
Kentucky.
Owensboro. I love Owensboro.
Yes. Comiccon.com. Myself, Marilyn, Mr. Jason Muse himself will be there as well. All weekend long, Saturday and Sunday, the 5th and 6th at the Owensboro Convention Center.
Owensboro. Look at those gorgeous faces on these pictures.
Right.
That's what I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw some convention promos and I thought that it was a previous, but it sounds like it's a future endeavor.
It's future, very, very, very near future endeavor. And then the weekend after that, we will be in Chicago for ChronicCon.
Oh, I want to go. Right. Maybe I'll go to ChronicCon.
Should come. Chicago, it's right near the airport, so.
I
should go. I think I'm in Philly that week. I've been to Louisville, Kentucky once. Is Odenboro near Louisville?
I think it's north of Louisville.
Because Louisville is fun.
Yeah, Louisville, as they call it.
Are we? It sounds like the pronunciation is degrading the more we say it.
No, it's Louisville.
Okay,
Louisville.
All right.
Louisville.
Yeah,
we're here to talk about Louisville.
Yeah,
we're here to talk about Conan.
That's right, yo.
Conan O'Brien. Conan.
No.
Oh.
The Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Librarian.
We are eagerly waiting to see if Krystle will be joining us, but we'll see soon if she does. But otherwise, it'll just be us four carrying the weight of the world of the Conan O'Brien world on
carrying the steel.
Conan.
Yes, it's like we are on the Wheel of Doom,
the Tree of Woe,
or the Tree of Woe.
Who has not seen this movie before?
I don't think I had.
Nobody?
Nothing seemed familiar.
Nobody?
No, I've seen it before.
Yeah, I was going to say, you twos have definitely seen it.
Your question was who didn't see it before, and it was these two.
Okay. You were shaking your head, Brian, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
No, I was shaking my head in disbelief.
I thought I had maybe seen it once before, but like I said, nothing seemed familiar, so I don't think I had. I may have seen just bits and pieces here and there.
But at the other side of the coin, it's amazing you guys got to experience it for the first time. And I'm hoping you enjoyed it.
I was very excited going into the film. I wanted to love it. I unfortunately I was telling Marilyn, I just could not get into it. It was, again, everything I love, the sword, the sorcery, the ancient, a time forgotten, ancient history, wizards, witches, monsters. That's right up my alley. But it was just the pacing of it was so slow. And again, I love yes. And I love slow burns. Lawrence of Arabia, 2001 Space Odyssey, totally fine. I'm okay with it. But it was just like we're climbing a tower.
The longest burn. You mentioned the longest burning movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey, where they literally start from when chimpanzee
and it's just a black screen.
And you're saying this was a slow burn. You had to find out what made him who he was, the murdering of his family, the fact that the main villain, that's how he started out. He was just a dude mugging people for their steel and their weapons, came on to be like, yo, I'm a cult leader, and then started to have this massive effect on all of the realm. Finally, he picks the wrong person to envelop into his cult, which is the daughter of King Ulrich. Ulrich's like, yo, you thieves, you want some jewels? There's a time for jewels, and here we go. Here's your jewels. Get my daughter back. It is the hero's journey, the most epic version of the hero's journey, which is a storytelling trick, people, that brings it out there. And you had the most perfectly cast person to play Conan. And then directed by Milos Forman. I mean, come on.
And co-written by Oliver Stone, believe it or not.
Yes.
Well, sort of. I want to kind of get into this, but it's like I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are getting
Well,
ahead.
to be honest with you, speaking of heads, listen, it's September. You don't need a beanie, buddy. Take the beanie off.
Yes, I do. If you saw my hair right
it's
now,
not that cold in there. Put a baseball cap on. Look,
this is the
he put on a baseball
did it
cap.
dip
He doesn't
down?
have the beanie on.
Well, I'm in Texas. It's still like 95.
I pulled this out of the closet. I was so happy when I found it because I was like, I haven't rocked a beanie. If you go back probably about a year and a half of live streams, I was rocking the beanie 24/7. And then we phased out the beanie. We went into baseball hats for a little while, but baseball's out, beanies are in.
All right, back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
So your first time seeing it, not quite your cup of tea. Marilyn, same thing, not quite her cup of tea.
And there were scenes that I was like, yeah, this kicks ass. This is so good. But then there were just parts that it was like, okay, they're climbing and they're still climbing. Here they go. They're climbing up that tower. All right, they're in the tower. What do we do? Okay, sneaking around the tower.
Here's how I'm going to put it. Because we're still there, it seems. It's like it's nice to let a scene breathe. There was too much breathing in many areas.
Too much breathing, yes.
Too much breathing. And in the very beginning, when you're talking about when they take the young Conan and they take him and they're he's doing whatever that thing is that he's going around in circles. It's like they don't even tell you what it is that he's doing, but that goes on for over 2 minutes.
Well, they were training. They were training the young boy to build up muscle, to be a gladiator, and to be a pit fighter. So you found out, how does a man in that age become so absolutely gigantic? You put him through nonstop working out.
Sure. It didn't have to be 2 minutes long.
His eating regimen must have been crazy.
Right?
So much protein. He's probably just eating like so
many
all the dead animals.
When you look at the wheel at the very end, he's the last one spinning.
Correct.
Yeah, he must have eat the other because like
this one dropped down. They're like, all right,
to build that kind of bulk in a non-steroid era, you gotta be eating a ton of protein.
Get on the wheel of doom, buddy. I'm sure there's some park in Texas that has the little merry-go-round metal. Just hook yourself onto that. Just push.
Just do the circle.
What's that guy doing on the playground? I don't know.
I can tell you, it's like if they're going to put him on that thing, might as well put it to use as well. It's like grinding corn or something.
Yeah, it was probably a mill. I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
But that's what I mean, though. There were so many of those types of scenes throughout to the very, very end that it's like the movie was just so long. It didn't have to be. It could have easily been an hour and a half, maybe hour and 45, but over 2 hours? No.
Well, it's an origin story. Otherwise. It's an origin story, and if you watch Conan the Destroyer, that's a much shorter story.
I've seen Conan the Destroyer about a zillion times because that was on cable constantly.
Correct, and that's a much shorter script.
It is shorter. I might actually like it better. I don't know why.
Because it's shorter.
It's the origin story. It's the beginnings of it.
Yeah. It's too much breathing. It's like they could have woken up 10 different people that were on death row with the auction that they passed out this thing.
I thought of you, Marilyn, when I was watching it. I knew.
No, I knew you were before this even started.
I knew she wasn't happy. I knew she wasn't happy.
Oh gosh.
I had a feeling.
And then it's like I started it this morning, and then I had maintenance come to the apartment to do something that has been needing done for like the last, I don't know, couple months or few months. And of course, they picked this morning to do it, so kind of delayed things even more.
Funny. Well, it was a pleasant surprise because I had forgotten James Earl Jones was in it until it started, and I was like, "Oh, look at this!"
Yeah.
Finally,
The
was
late great James Earl
uh,
Jones.
and he just added a great. I thought he was great in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
he's not great in it. I mean, he's great in everything. So, like, yeah. But yeah, it was kind of cool because I forgot he was in this.
Yeah,
I don't know how I forgot.
and going back to Brian's point, like, yeah, he has a cool arc, you know, going from just being like, ah, yes, steel is the strongest. No, dude, flesh is the strongest. You want to see some strength? Check this out. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen Furiosa, the new
Yeah.
Mad Max movie. I thought that this was like there's a scene, not a spoiler, but there's a scene where Morton Joe does a James Earl Jones. He's like, you up there, kill yourself for me. And he's like, boom, check it out. That's power, dude. So the fact that like it was interesting to see that and then go back to 1982 and be like, all right, I see what's going on here. A little homage, perhaps.
Yeah, all cult leaders always try to push the limits of their followers.
Yeah, I will say. Oh, go ahead, Marilyn.
Brainwashed.
Yeah, even with the princess at the end and everything. But even like, and again, I don't want to get too much back into the scenes, but like the whole part was like, all right, yeah, they got a whole orgy on the ground and everybody is, you know, getting freaky deaky and doing their stuff. It's like, and then the guys are just like, they're climbing up and they're watching. That was like, all right, come on. Let's wrap it up a little bit. Come on, let's keep going.
Well, I think it was also the era of that. I mean, it was in the 80s. I feel like movies were paced like that a lot more.
I told Sarah, it felt more like we spent $200,000 on a snake set. We're using the snake set. I want to see the snake set from every angle. I want to see a high angle. I want to see a low angle. I want to see that snake.
Well,
Snake's cool. I mean, it's a cool snake for the time.
Well, and you also got to remember they're adapting this from books. So books are a long read. You're not going to be after an hour and a half reading a book going, oh, this book's too long. I'm done. You know what I mean? It's a book, right? So they had to condense it down and get all the pertinent points of the original Conan tale. So,
and that's why
the books
there was several movies and not just one. But
to Marilyn's point, she was saying, like, why do we have to watch him walk around the wheel for 4 hours instead of just getting to more? I'm just playing devil's.
No, I look.
Why, Krystle, are you not here to defend this?
I know. I totally knew Krystle was going to.
Krystle would only like it for one reason, because
it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
But hold on a second, because it's like Oliver Stone, when he originally wrote the script, it was 4 hours long. And then John Milius is one that took over and then cut it down to what it is now. And even back then, it was like $70 million if they had stuck to Oliver Stone's script. And it was cut in half because of that. But still, it just to what you were saying, it's like, yes, I realize it's a book. It's just when you're looking at it and you're cutting it down, it's like it's just too many areas that are just dragging on. I mean, and if it weren't for all of that, I would enjoy the film much more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's what fast forwards are for.
I will say, if anything, this has inspired me to like. I spent probably like a little bit on Wikipedia today looking up Robert E. Howard and like, oh, okay, like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I really want to go back and reread his original pulp stories and then read some of the early comic books that were coming out back in that era. Like, that to me is like, again, the movie in concept was like, yes, this is so good. You know, I love this stuff. So like, that's why I'm like, all right, I'll check out the comic books. I'll check out the pulp stories. You know, there's definitely more to Conan.
Right.
But yeah, I I don't know. Did it live up to your guys's like hype and memory from when you had watched it initially?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I think it was definitely. It definitely was up there. Like I don't know. I'm trying to remember when I saw Conan. Saw it the first time. I wasn't that young when I saw, because I used to watch Conan the Destroyer like every day when I was a kid because it was on cable nonstop. And then I didn't watch Conan the Barbarian until years later. So, and I remember I was probably like in my late teens when I saw it. So yeah, it definitely held up for me. I mean, there's always certain things when you watch those movies from the 80s that like, you're like, wow, like that was a little corny. But
Right. Do they hold up?
yeah, I mean, I thought it was, I remembered it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy rewatching this one. I don't always enjoy rewatching the movies I like from the 80s. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, why did I like this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so this one I definitely enjoyed rewatching.
Yeah, it holds up for me.
And I mean, I grew up on Schwarzenegger movies. Like that was like, he was like a god to us when we were teenagers and kids. And so any Schwarzenegger movie, I'm usually going to be all about.
I don't know if my generation has an Arnold.
You have The Rock. You have Dwayne.
I don't want The Rock. Can I have Gosling?
You can have. Guess you can have.
I'll take Gosling. Nothing. No, sorry, Mr. Rock, Dwayne.
I mean, you
can have Vin Diesel.
You could have Tom Cruise.
We have Tom Cruise. Everybody has Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's kind of a generational.
I was gonna say Tom Cruise jumps around a little bit.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, he's been around. Yeah, Arnold. Like for me, like just watching an Arnold movie, it's very rare that I'm just going to be like, oh, this is a piece of crap. I mean, he's made bad ones. That's not good. That's not.
Well, I see in the chat the Graves mistake has said Momoa, Jason Momoa.
You want?
I mean,
Momoa?
he did the newest version of Conan,
which I want. Have you guys
I
seen
never
that
saw
one?
that.
I have.
And how does it compare?
The villain was kind of weak to me. I know it's the dude from Avatar who was the villain in that one. He did an okay job as Conan, but just the physique of Arnold and the straight up craziness, and then the Basil Polidoris, soundtrack. That music is so iconic to the original. But I think Jason did a great job with it. I thought they would make more, but I believe it did that version of Conan did poorly in the box office, because I think everybody was just who had seen the originals were like, oh, it should be an Arnold movie kind of a thing.
And I feel like that was coming in at a time period that was 2011. I feel like there were a lot of movies kind of in that. Like, when was the Clash of Titans remake?
Yeah, probably around that time.
2010. Too. So yeah, 2010, 2011. So I feel like there were all of these like kind of epic adventures coming out at that time, and it probably kind of, just blended together with everything else. I think there was a remake, or Mark says it's very politically correct. I never saw it. I found a bit. I guess there's certain adaptations of the source material that are more gruesome and like violent than others. Like I guess there's one called the I don't know if it's the Chimera or the either way, I'm like, that was one of the things I want to look up and read because I want the bloody violent Conan.
Right.
Oh, also happy birthday, Scott Cookson, in the comment section. Scott Cookson's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
So I don't know if we talked a little bit about the plot. We started getting in there a little bit. The plot is, again, in concept, I like it. The poster does a good job of breaking down. He goes from a thief, or he goes from a slave to a thief to a gladiator to a king, or whatever that sequence is. And then, like Brian, like you said, it's the hero's journey. He meets the wizard, he gets the sword, he does all this cool stuff. By the way, for any Samurai Jack fans or Avatar: The Last Airbender fans out there, I did not know this, but the wizard is the voice of Uncle Iroh in Avatar: The Last Airbender and Haku in Samurai Jack.
Yeah, the
So,
actor Mako was an absolute brilliant guy, and his voice was so iconic. So it's great when people know, like, oh shit, they find his earlier work when this is technically in the middle of his career when he got this. But he did a lot of movies. He did a lot of World War II movies, and so that actor was very popular in the 70s and 80s.
I
And
feel
then-
like a lot of the there could have been more narration, especially in those spots that there wasn't so much kind of going on.
There was, yeah. Sorry.
That to let us realize, and those who are not familiar with the comics or the books, to fill in those spots that were just dead breathing air, and to give us that little bit of a narration in there. It's like I felt like there could have been a bit more of that.
There was there was not a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
The dialogue was scarce, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I don't mind sparse dialogue. I do like it when it's, show don't tell kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or if it's action packed enough.
Right.
Yeah, or at least, like, again, I don't know what it is. Like, I can watch Once Upon a Time in the West, and they spend like 30 minutes in a train station, just watching a guy, slap flies on his wrist. But it was just something I really don't know what it is.
I mean, it could be the fact that the filmmaker was trying to get the viewer to feel the absolutely long feeling of this arduous task that our hero was going through.
Like, yeah.
Hey, that's better than I
listen. In today's day and age, it's really tough to be like, oh, I can't sit through this longer. Can we just move it along? Because we've been narrowed down in our time span, in our attention span to do that. That's why books aren't selling as much, because people don't have time for books. People are more happy to watch a film on their train while they're looking at their phone or sitting on a plane. But to actually sit and see a long, drawn-out, epic journey of a hero is storytelling that was that journey. So I don't know what to tell you. What else? If you want to see nothing but stop action, keep on going, check out Conan 2011.
But again, like I'm going to come back to that. It's like there are scenes that definitely need that moments to be told. It's just that, there's those 15 seconds here and there that take away from it, or 30 seconds. I mean, and yeah, you're coming down to seconds, but that makes a difference. And just like whoever saw the Emmys, and who were the guys that were hosting from Schitt's Creek, it's like there was that one instance where they were aisles apart doing their scene, and it was funny shtick in the moment, but then all of a sudden it's like, all right, guys, it's too far. It's like, enough already. Let's get on with it.
Maybe it wouldn't take so long if they rode horses instead of just running around everywhere. Because he had a horse at one point, but then, like, what do you call it? When he's hanging from the tree and his like partner, he looks out and his partner is doing the Monty Python run, from over on the opposite side of the horizon.
Right.
Like,
and then you think it's a mirage, and then it's not.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a great book by John Walsh, the author, about the making of the film, that talks about, what they went through, where they cast, the problems that they had, money issues that they had in the middle of filming, and things like that. My friend bought it, and I was looking through it, but it's called Conan the Barbarian, the official story of the film. If you ever get a chance to see that book, it's huge. It's a big tome of a book, and I just looked at it on Amazon. It's $37.
That's not bad for a tome.
Exactly.
Ralph's going on Amazon right now to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Later, guys. I'm out.
I have to look it up. Sorry, I had to.
It's funny because, like, once he was actually free, and he found his friend, his thieving friend. It's like, how did they pay for anything? They're going around and they're getting all this food and whatever, and I'm like, how are they paying for anything? How did they? Where he didn't have any money?
The thieves.
That's my
Well,
favorite.
remember when they were, they had, I'm sure they had rolled somebody in that time. They're thieves.
Yeah,
They're
I did
mercenaries.
like it, they're doing the classic, adventure, like, haha, we got our meat and we've got our women and we've got our food, and yes, we'll party, like, ha ha ha. And I like the bit where they're all partying, and then Conan's face just down in the bowl of soup. And they're like, all right, yeah, that's it. You fell for the trap, you goofy goobers. Couldn't hold your own.
I meant like very early on, when after he left the witch demon, whatever she was. He spends the night there. Why would he spend the night there? I was like, get the hell out of here.
Wait, by the way, if that guy was chained up to the mountainside outside of the witch's house, was he just in there the entire, like, listening while they were doing their business? Like, oh man, that witch is really going to town in there. Like, oh man, she's got another one. And then Conan comes out the next morning.
That witch is a looker.
She was, wasn't she?
Jeez.
Well, you saw what happened, though. It was all an illusion.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't end well with her, but in the beginning, she looked great.
Because she had her
really
magic.
cool. That was a great scene.
It was like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And she's like wrapped her, like she's digging her claws into his back, and he throws her into the fire, and she and then all of the lights go out.
It was a good scene.
That was a great scene. I also really liked what do you call it? The scene when they're trying to bring Conan back to life, and you have all the hand-drawn ghosts.
I always love that scene.
That's very well done.
I thought that was very
that
cool
scene.
Nice too.
That was a cool scene. And that girl was a ride or die, huh?
Oh yeah.
His lady friend, man, she was a badass, and she was like willing to do whatever for him.
Yeah.
Very loyal girl. Look at that. Oh.
Although it did bother me, like, what's that camouflage? Like, does that help?
Well, so a lot of the other, because I was really looking intensely in that. It's like, why did they do that? And so slaves, or whatever you want to call them, that were working there and doing some of the stuff were also camouflaged like that.
All
so
right. Good. I did not pick up on that.
Yeah, I was really intently looking at that. Those are why.
Yeah, no, because I was watching, and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna help, but that makes more sense. I did like when he disguised himself as a priest, and was just kind of like walking up the mountain, passing all their tests. But yeah.
But he was kind of giving himself away, because he kept showing the necklace, and it was because of that necklace that they found out who he was.
Yeah, right. It's like, hold on a second. This is necklace 3467. Bob has necklace 3467. Hey, Bob, is this your necklace? It's not. Get that infidel. Get him. I don't know. That was what was going in the back of my mind.
That should have been the dialogue, actually.
Yeah, it should have. And it also pissed me off when he looked in the water, and the woman was like, "What do you see?" And he didn't say snakes. And he was like, "Infinity," and she's like, "Oh, correct." And he kept walking. But like, in my mind, everything was snakes, because they all loved snakes. Just like, yeah, snakes. What's 67 plus 4? Snakes.
That scene was pretty cool.
I thought all of the again, the cult stuff, the snakes, I thought it was pretty. It was a good vibe, and it worked well.
It was definitely a very cool part of the fact that him as a villain had this, he definitely had magical powers. He was some sort of sorcerer rather, that was a formidable foe for Conan and everyone else, for that matter. And even his henchmen were all, huge jacked up dudes who really did amazing fucking work for him over all those years. And the guy on the, if you bring that picture back up, the gentleman Oren Thorensen, the guy on the right, as I look at the screen, maybe it's people's left, but the one without the mustache. How's that? He was in Mallrats, Kevin Smith's Mallrats, as the security guard.
Oh, really?
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
there's your small little Kevin Smith connection to this. He was best friends.
Six
He was another
degrees of Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah, he was another Mr. Olympian, Mr. World competitor.
Wow.
Good friend of Arnold. Arnold brought him from Europe to work on movies for him, to A, be a stand-in in some of them, and B, then be in a lot of the others. But yeah, he was our security guard. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, there's our little connection to the movie.
I just LaFours.
LaFours, that's it.
I just looked up. He doesn't look. I would not have recognized.
Correct, right? So LaFours was part of Mola Ram's or not Mola Ram, Thulsa Doom's cult. I was confusing my cult leaders. Mola Ram is from
It's embarrassing.
Temple of Doom.
You're really, that's really embarrassing.
No, that means we need to put Temple of Doom on the list.
Temple of Doom. Good pull. I like that.
Mola Ram.
I think James Earl Jones was just really great casting, and he was actually brought in at the last minute.
Yep.
And Schwarzenegger and him became really, really good friends on set. Schwarzenegger helped Jones stay in shape, and Jones helped Schwarzenegger with his acting.
Couldn't get a better teacher than that.
Yeah, seriously.
The other person I was surprised when I was doing my little research later on, the guy that played the king that asks them to come and save his daughter is the same...
Max von Sydow.
Yeah,
Max von Sydow, also known as Ming the Merciless from one of our previous films, The Flash.
Which not for nothing.
Or excuse me, Flash Gordon.
But he's also in Flip, which is crazy to me because again, I didn't realize that he was Ming. But then he's also in what do you call it? Seventh Seal, Ingrid Bergman. So he's in these really classy.
Max von Sydow has been in tons of crazy good films. He's been forever a phenomenal actor. So putting him into this was just this is a great role for him.
And that was he had some great lines too. I think you might have mentioned it earlier, Brian, but the bit about
his speech about, when the throne room loses its luster, when the gold and the jewels, blah, 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 there it comes down to a father's love for a daughter. I totally butchered that quote. But
you got it.
It's an amazing quote in general that is just so good.
Yeah. So I think we talked a little bit about plot. We talked a little bit about characters. Were there any characters that you guys, thought needed an honorable mention that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, Subutai, his thieving friend, the archer.
Yeah.
Subutai. I thought he was always a guy in the nick of time. And look, a dude who will run across deserts and land to save you is definitely something that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he didn't make it into the sequel where Conan has a whole new crew in in Destroyer.
Will Chamberlain, apparently.
Well, Will Chamberlain.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to give anything away. Grace Jones is
for those of you who haven't seen the 1980s.
Good, because Will Chamberlain. Well, you got to watch it. We should do a sequel night.
All I've seen.
I know Marilyn's dying to watch Conan the Destroyer.
Well, it's shorter.
It's shorter.
I feel like the female and the male counterparts to Conan were spot on, very, very good, in co-starring with him and characters to kind of build everything that was kind of going on.
Yeah, and Sandra Bergman, who played the female role in this, she, funny enough, then went on to play the villainous queen from the movie Red Sonja, which Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a Conan-like character. So both Arnold and her got together again for that movie. I think they dated for a short period of time in real life too.
I always thought that like Conan and Red Sonja were like in the same universe. Did they not use
No,
Conan?
I don't think so. Let me double check that. No, he played a character called Calidor in Red Sonja, but it's a
Conan with a
Conan-like.
K.
Right.
The Red Sonja was, I don't know. Did I ever see that? I thought that was is that Brigitte Nielsen?
Yes,
Yeah.
Brigitte Nielsen, correct.
Right. Okay.
That's a great name.
Brigitte Nielsen. I forgot about that movie. I don't know if I don't remember it. I had to have seen it.
I'm going to show a picture real quick. This is why I want to watch the sequel because I keep seeing these pictures on Google of Wilt and Andre and Arnold. And
Wait, was Andre the Giant in?
No.
No,
but he visited set
he
apparently.
must have visited set.
Well, yeah, they knew each other from the gym and everything else. So
I just think that's a great picture.
I was gonna say I don't remember him. I only remember Andre the Giant from Princess Bride, of course, best role ever. Another movie we should do. Or are we doing that? No,
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't remember. don't recall.
Any scenes that we have not mentioned that you guys thought were? I will say I don't think that anyone's mentioned it yet. Snake arrows, pretty cool. He gets the snake. He's like, what does he say? Like seek, and then he shoots the snake, and it.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty. Like, nice
It was
power.
nice that they used it twice versus just using it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the female character comes back in his desperate moment of need in the battle to, do a kind of finesse point his way into,
Right.
this hero moment where do you want to live forever? And she blinds the foe, and he gets his opportunity to take advantage and smash him to cinders.
Yeah. There's also my favorite line will be after he burns her body and his sidekick is coming down and he's crying. It's like, oh, I cry for him because like he wouldn't cry. So
Right.
I like
Yeah. Oh, and the bit where it's like, all that matters and all that people need to know is it was two versus many.
Why couldn't they draw on her face and hold her down from the people?
They said we did this once before.
Like, you can't do that. What? Only do that with Conan?
Maybe the wizard only had so much magic in him. Well, remember, hold on. Actually, wait. When they did it to Conan, because the wizard said it would cost you a price. And so the price was of her own life.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
the spirits took their toll.
And even
Also-
when she's dying,
She said, "Let me breathe my last breath into your mouth."
Right,
that was bleh.
Little weird.
But had Conan already passed? Like he hadn't passed. He was still on the brink
Yeah,
there.
he was like
Right.
on the brink. Right. He was still
Right.
partially.
Her death was a little too talking about things that were a little drawn out. That was
That's his. Don't make fun of his woman.
But
It
which,
was
by
the
the way,
equivalent-
though, it's like one of the things is some of the stuntmen took too long to die that they had to pay them extra so that they would die.
Ah.
But yeah, it felt a little like Jim Carrey in The Mask, He kind of like, I see the light. It's coming.
Well, she was a very dramatic scene, Noah. Jeez. You and Marilyn are so mean.
A little. Listen, I could be won over. You know how I rated Barbarella,
Yeah, you let Krystle get in your head.
Not getting to me this time, man.
I did get a text from Krystle. I have her score. So
Okay.
just FYI.
Well, we know what it isn't. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I won't. I can't even pretend it's. Yeah.
Also, chopping off the head and throwing it down the flight of stairs.
Yeah, he got him right in that neck. It was beautiful. It was a bang.
Well, I think it's only fair that he saw his own mother's head get chopped off while
Right.
holding her hand.
Mhm.
So, avenging his family's death was a #1 goal of Conan. And that one, yeah, I'll get the daughter for the King Ulrich. But in the meantime, I'm chopping that boy's heads off.
I mean, it's amazing how he didn't age a day though since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Drops on the movie.
You okay? You okay?
sorry about that. Yeah,
As far as
shaky camera work.
as far as special effects go, I was pretty impressed. I didn't think that there was anything glaring that was like,
No.
ugh, ugh.
It was for the time era, and it was
1982.
pretty good. It was
Yeah.
really
Yeah, the snake was nice. He had some good snakeage. I like we all seem to like the scene with the, where they're bringing, stopping him from crossing over was cool. Well done. Yeah, there was nothing glaring for a movie from 1982 that I know.
No, special effects artist Colin Arthur was the head of it. He's done a ton of stuff himself, so he was able to pull out pretty much all the stops for that. So,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah,
What was
no,
the budget? Do we know what the budget was?
$5 and a case of brisk iced tea.
$5.
No, it was up there.
Was it?
Yeah, I know what it was supposed to be. At that time, it was 70 million. So, and they said they cut it by half. So it has to be around 30, 35 million, maybe.
Yeah,
That
sounds
gets you
okay.
that gets you a lot back then.
Right.
35
and Conan-
came too far these
and-
days.
Yeah, and Arnold, this was Arnold's first feature besides Hercules in New York and the Pumping Iron movie. This was like his first foray into really a major film.
Right.
So I'm sure they got him for a bit of a steal.
Mhm.
Steel, huh?
Yeah, the riddle of
Yeah,
steel.
because Terminator was what, 84?
Correct. 2 years later.
Gotcha.
I feel like though, this for him being the start of his career, because he was doing a lot of training to familiarize himself with Conan, with the fighting, with the acting, and essentially Conan was doing the same thing in a lot of ways as far as learning the fighting and learning how to read and write even, and like they were showing him all these things that he was learning as he was growing. So kind of like, symbiotic maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good parallels.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any parting final thoughts? No, anything's been addressed that hasn't been?
What about the massive orgy scene?
What about the massive orgy scene?
Would we be able to get away with that today?
The way
Maybe.
they did it there, absolutely. I think it's been done. Because I don't think they really showed all that much there.
No, they
not at all.
it was all pretty tame,
It was a tame orgy. It wasn't a P. Diddy party.
No. I knew
Although I
I
did
knew somebody was going to say that today. I knew it.
Sorry, it just
Knew
I didn't plan it. It just came out.
I hear you.
No, he set it up. He set it
You
up.
brought up the orgy.
What? You're the one wearing the P hat.
It's the P. Diddy hat. This ain't a Phillies hat. It's my P. Diddy hat.
What about the lines? What is good in life for Conan?
I liked that. Also, going back to the orgy real quick, you have like 6 guys carrying in this giant bucket of what I guess is hand soup.
Yeah,
at the time,
cults too.
Yeah, I was just like, more lube, bringing in the lube, sir. More lube. We got the bucket full of lube here. All right. More
Hey,
lube.
how come he has a hand and I just got a foot in my bowl? What the hell?
I got a whole head in my bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I like the other guy's answer too, and him like, nope, wrong. Conan, what is love?
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
That's the best part. The fact that you just want to hear the women cry.
Of course. I mean, there's not a lot of dialogue in the film, as we discussed earlier, but the dialogue from Conan that comes out, a lot of it is very memorable. A lot of what Thulsa Doom says is very memorable. Obviously, King Ulrich's appeal to the thieves, why he wants to hire them as mercenaries, is one of the most memorable monologues in the film. So, the fact that it was drawn out, with certain scenes, the dialogue didn't need to be there to capture it. The narration done by, the point of view of Mako, the wizard, was really great. And the fact that it ends at a point where you already see him as a very older king, where he goes, and there are more tales, but that's for another, that's another story to be told. Which led to then Conan the Destroyer. Hoping that there was going to be, to be honest with you, like 4 of those movies, but it ended after the second one, which is another worthwhile watch. A lot faster, not as drawn out. Conan is established, so everybody knows what they were getting into there. It's a lot of killing, and one of the best lines of the second movie is, "It's bad luck to kill a wizard," which was said nonstop in that film.
It was.
That's how he stays alive.
It's the second one had more humor to it. This one was literally more origin story and telling his first big, task of avenging his family and his tribe, and ending this horrible cult that was sweeping across the realm.
Yeah. I did like, they even mentioned at one point, like, yeah, they just started as a snake cult, but now they're all over the place.
Right.
This thing is actually growing. And, Ulfric's whole thing about, you guys, the only people who stood up to him, are just a couple of thieves. Yeah. I thought that stuff was great too. Mark LeBrand in the comment wants to, I know, Brian, I think you had mentioned it just briefly, but the music was pretty solid.
Basil Poledouris, one of the greatest composers to ever score movies. He's done tons of movies. I encourage people to look up, go to your Spotify, go to your Amazon Music, type in Basil Poledouris, and you'll see the copious amount of films that he scored. He, in my view, is in the same vein as a John Williams, as so many others before them. So he made that movie, that score. When I saw the movie in theaters, which my friends and I did sneak into a rated R movie to see this.
Brian.
Yeah. I bought the cassette tape of the soundtrack, and we would play it. We would play it while we would be role playing our, D&D games and stuff like that. I was always the kid who had soundtrack collections and switching tapes, for different things that we were gaming. And there was a time I made a mixtape back in the old school days of different music from different movies. Like the soundtrack to Aliens is another amazing soundtrack. That's not Basil Poledouris, but that action type of movies. And so whenever new movies came out, I always went to the record store to go get the soundtracks.
Right. Yeah. I remember those.
Record store? What's that?
I remember the record store. Well,
and then, all right, one last thing from the comments. If you had to pick, only one scene survives. The entire reel of Conan the Barbarian goes up in a freak studio fire.
Oh my God.
And you can only save one scene from the film. What is it?
Well, I kind of already hinted on it, and it was when that line was given. It's like, "Why are you crying?" And it's like, "Well, I cry for him." I like that.
That's cool. Yeah, I think mine was definitely the them saving him from dying, crossing over, that scene where I think that was, for me, the coolest scene in the movie, possibly.
I think the scene where him and his Subutai set up the whole camp where they're coming to try to kill Conan, and he defends himself amongst the ruins of this other fortress. I thought that would be my favorite scene. Yeah.
That one would probably be mine too. Specifically, like the entire like fight scene. You know, when he takes out the dude with the mustache.
Yeah.
And I think he kills the other guy too while he's
Yep.
there. I think he takes out both of them.
Yep.
But his little prayer to Crom beforehand, where he's like, you know, I've never prayed to you before. If you want to help me out, that'd be great. If you don't, to hell with you. You know,
I liked that scene, and I think that could have been done a little bit sooner than it was. It's like there was a lot of stuff that was kind of going on before that and unnecessary, but that whole little of him praying to Crom, I enjoyed it.
Here's another funny side note. If anybody's seen Clerks 3, there's a character who at one point is going under for medical treatment, and he decides to say a little prayer. And because it came up earlier in the film that I don't have a God, I pray to Crom. This is where it's taken from. This is the movie, folks, that Randall prays to Crom with that exact prayer.
I don't think I picked up on that. Man, I'm learning so much today, guys.
Yeah. Another connection. So you know this film was an influence on Kevin Smith.
Oh, for sure.
That's cool. I didn't remember that until you said it.
Next time you should see it again. I know it's a heavy watch, the third one. But next time, if it should pop up, remember that scene, and this is where it came from.
Yeah, I'll just fast forward through as long as I don't cry again, I'll be happy.
Don't worry. We don't. What's one thing about our films? We don't drag them out. So
there you go.
Brian, okay, I think we should do our ratings.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's go to the ratings. There they are.
So my Lord.
As of now, Ghostbusters is the definitive top choice for 2024 with an average of 4.45.
Wow. That seems high.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like out of all of those there, Ghostbusters is like, that I don't want to say like franchise. I mean, it is a franchise. There's a couple franchises on here, but that to me is like classic movie making magic, Ghostbusters.
Classic magic. Yeah. Weird Science didn't do too well, did it?
No, I think you had the highest rating for Weird Science.
Yeah, it makes me sad that Weird Science is not.
And then
okay. Let's see how Conan does. It's funny, for years I said Conan, and I would call Conan O'Brien Conan. Then I finally started calling Conan O'Brien Conan. Now I can't stop saying Conan the Barbarian. Anyway, not important. Who wants to?
I'm glad you kind of looked that up there, because it's like, okay, I gotta go according to what I've had up there.
Exactly.
Who wants to start? Who wants to?
Listen, it's going to be no fucking surprise what I'm going to be saying. This is a 5. 5 all day.
5 Conans. 5 Conans.
Easily.
5 Conans.
It's 5 Yaos.
Okay, Brian's a 5. Marilyn?
You go first, Noah.
I think I'm going to give it a 2.75.
Wow.
Now, that's more than half. That's more than half.
More than half.
It's more than Hellraiser, and it's more than Neverending Story. So, it's not a Blade Runner, and it's not RoboCop, but, it was serviceable. It had moments that I really enjoyed. I even liked, again, the whole, two snakes as one, like his arms are the snake. He is the one. There was so much cool stuff that worked together. And I'll admit, I did have a bit of a migraine when I was watching it, so I might not have been in the best of moods, but
it's the hat, sir.
You're overheating
your head with that hat.
Maybe. Could be. Again, you don't want to see it without the hat right now. But yeah, I liked it. It was better than some of the other movies that we've seen. I personally would have liked a crack at the editing board. Just for shits and giggles. If I can't do a better version, I then I give credit to everybody else. But just for shits and giggles, let me edit it a little bit. But that's it. I'll give it 2.75.
The franchise is up for direction. Get in there.
All right, now I'll go. And after watching, it's like, oh, okay, I see what I did there. Okay. Because originally I was kind of going to go like 2.5, 2.75. But if it weren't for just the stretching of the story, it probably would be a point higher. I'm going to admit.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like undecided between 3 and 320.
Ooh, this is higher than I thought you were going to go.
Well, and again, that's because I saw some of the other scores that I did, and I'm like, okay, this can't be lower than that because it was, as far as like the story itself and everything involved with it was better. It was just the length of it that was just killer for me. Just killer. So
the length of this review is killing me. Come on.
The length of the
Snap it up.
I realized
Snap
that
it up,
I got to give you a score. 3.
The length of this review is killing me. That was 3 Conans. I will go 4 point. Oh God, this is tough. I gotta keep it real. I'm gonna go 4 Conans.
4 Conans.
4 Conans. I don't. 5 is like masterpiece material to me. I don't know if that's this, but I will say, good news, Brian. Somebody did go 5 Conans.
Krystle go 5.
Krystle texted me.
Of course she
5
did.
Yeah.
Conans. She's say a prayer for her dog. Her dog's Stanley. I know he's not doing great right now, so she's dealing with that right now. So that's why she couldn't make it. But keep her in your thoughts. But she gave us a 5 Conans, whatever you want to say. So
Crom, if
that
you're
surely
up there, you will
that
save Stanley Crom. And if not, you could go to hell.
Thank you, Brian. That surely will make Conan higher than Weird Science.
Yes.
So sadly for me. That said, we have the cover. Do we have the cover?
Oh yeah,
Let's do
here
it.
it goes. Biggity, Crom.
Oh yeah.
This
Elias.
might be my favorite one of the year.
Elias Chatzoudis cover. Elias, do a good job.
I always try to find the dragon.
Good job, Elias.
Well,
Where's the dragon?
Where's the dragon? No, there's no snake, no dragon.
he hasn't been putting the dragon in, has he?
He
I
said
don't
no
think
dragon.
that might have been a Sun
Oh, okay.
thing.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Son used to put the dragon in everything.
I gotcha. This looks amazing.
Elias does not put the dragon in everything. But that's the cover. Do you have the link to drop? Do we have the link to drop?
Oh yes, I do. Getting that link for you.
Grab
right
it.
now.
Grab your Conan cover.
This one I might actually request both covers.
Mhm.
Get it. Do it. Do it.
All right, those should be
Oh,
on the.
The sun
web
is just
store.
coming right in them, streaking through my face. Real quick, guys and gals, do you want to just plug again where you'll be in the next 2 weeks, since people might have joined after you talked about it?
Literally next weekend. Well, not this weekend, the following weekend.
Mhm.
Both me, Marilyn, and Jason Mewes will be in Owensboro, Kentucky. That's right.
Owensboro.
The home of bourbon. We're going to be at the Owensboro Comic and Toy Con, or Comic and Toy Convention. You can go to owensborocomiccon.com for information and tickets. And Mr. Jason Mewes will be joining us as well. Tons of other guests. Go to owensborocomiccon.com for more information. And then the following weekend will be the epic gathering of Kevin Smith's very own convention called Chronic Con. And Chronic Con is going to be at the Chicago O'Hare Airport at the Hyatt at O'Hare. Not at the airport, but at the hotel, the Hyatt.
not at the airport.
We picked people like, why aren't you holding this in New Jersey? They picked Chicago because it's central from people on the West Coast to get to and the East Coast. And plus, Chicago is a fantastic food city.
Why couldn't you do Austin, man?
I know. Maybe, to be honest with you, we'd love to get down to the Austin Comic-Con at some point. I hear you.
Central.
Well, this is the first year. We're working it out.
All right, work it out.
This could be something that we move around.
You work it out. You do it.
But we got tons of people for that. We got Kevin, Jay, myself, Marilyn. We got Trevor Furman there. We got Tommy Chong is going to be there. Shannon Elizabeth's going to also be there. Kevin's wife's going to be there. Jen, his daughter Harley, Austin Zager from Clerks 3, and the new movie. Kevin's new movie, the 4:30 movie, in theaters now. Please go see it. I pop up in a quick cameo in that. And also tons of other people, artists, Mark Bernardin, Ralph Garman, Philly Boy himself will be there as well. So that's October 13th through the 15th.
It'll be a first for many of those people too. That like Raquel Castro, she's never done.
Correct.
She's from Jersey Girl, so yeah,
right.
It's going to be a first convention for many of those people.
October 13th, you said?
Yeah. Let me take a look real quick.
The Sunday to
no. Sorry, October 11th through the 13th.
Yeah, I was a little
October 11th through the 13th.
Okay, so Friday to Sunday.
Right. And you can go to Chronic Con 4, the number, or no, is it the word?
It's a word.
Yeah. ChronicCon4real.com.
For real, not for fake.
No, it's because I think their Twitter handle is the number 4. Chronic Con. Let me see if I could put it in the chat.
I would like to go to Chronic Con. I just can't.
Dude.
Next year. Next time I'm coming.
Nope.
Y'all sorry,
have
can't go.
Uninvited. Ralph's been blacklisted from Chronic Con.
Yeah, so ChronicCon4real.com for more information on that. It's going to be a blast.
Sweet.
One last thing before we head off. We had our monthly giveaway for Weird Science last stream. We picked somebody randomly from the comment section of our video. They will be going home with. Hold on, making sure it's all censored. They'll be getting this 9.8 Elias Chatzoudis Frankenstein inspired, because a little Weird Science, little Frankenstein. So this is going to Mr. Brian Lagerspam, 755.
Brian.
Yeah, congratulations, Brian.
Congratulations, you know Brian well.
Yes, that will be going to
confetti.
You. And because we just did Conan, if you would like to win this was a Carla Cohen Conan. I believe we called it the fantasy series.
Carla Conan.
Carla Conan. I like that. But that's a 9.6 Robin Hood Conan inspired cover, CGC graded. And so all you have to do is leave your personal score for Conan O'Brien in the comments section of this video, and we'll announce the winner for that next month. And next month, we will be discussing, The Evil Dead, dude.
The original, this is the original Evil Dead. We need to be able to clarify that.
The original
We
Evil
usually
Dead.
have the date on the movie. We didn't put the date there, but the original Evil Dead.
Sam Raimi, Evil Dead.
Sam Raimi, original.
Going forward. Nope.
Not Evil Dead 2, which is basically a remake of Evil Dead. Evil Dead, the original.
and not Army of Darkness.
Great
Wait,
movie.
Flash up the movies again one more time.
So we've got Evil
Okay.
Dead for October.
Superman and then Beetlejuice. Okay, Beetlejuice was we mistimed Beetlejuice because I just
We
saw
did.
Beetlejuice. Shit. Well, what are you gonna do?
You're just not on his speed dial for when they were going to do this.
That's a sad thought.
Push Superman back to 2025 in anticipation for James
We need
Gunn.
to figure out 2025 because I feel like our movie club covers are. I have to talk to Dave and Joe because I don't know if we have any movie club covers coming in 2025. So we have to figure that out. To figure out our movie club 2025. What are we gonna do?
To be honest with you, I think one of the choices should be viewer picked. Like
Ooh.
give them a multiple,
Viewer choice.
viewer choice month where we give them multiple
God.
choices to vote on.
I like that. I know Krystle and you guys too at some point were talking about wanting to select some movies or at least
Sure.
have like a pick.
Sure.
But I'm all game for it.
Well,
Listen,
I think Krystle wanted Barbarella too. I think.
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we will hopefully be, even if we don't do a movie club set of covers, which we may or may not be doing, we should talk about continuing movie club just for everybody's amusement.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but that being said, Evil Dead, October 2024.
I'm loving what I'm seeing in the chat already. The Princess Bride, Excalibur,
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I would
Little
love to
Shop
see
of
Excalibur.
Horrors. No, I'm not in the basement. This is my office, and this is memorabilia behind me. Robert Wilson.
Ha. Little Shop of Horrors would be a good one. Rocky Horror, all right. Although totally not. I'll be honest. Have you guys ever seen Phantom of the Paradise with
No.
Paul Williams?
We're not doing that, whatever that is.
Yeah,
And don't,
that
not
is.
doing obscure, weird.
Krull.
Phantom of the
Wow.
I'm just letting you know.
If someone was complaining about long and drawn out movies, Krull, I give you Krull.
No, we're not doing Krull, please, God. Okay.
I think we should add some foreign language films to our roster.
I will be.
How about a little Wild
my God.
Strawberries?
How about let's see. This is the problem.
Do you like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari
I'm
for
hanging
2025?
up.
How about that?
I'm hanging up.
All right.
Hi, you're
I
still
will see you guys.
You know what? I think this episode's going way too long.
Yeah, you know,
I'm so hungry. I gotta eat something. I will see you guys.
Come on, Noah. You wanted to be the editor here.
All right. We'll talk to you all next month, everybody. Love.
Bye. Bye. Bye.